Christ the Redeemer is an Art Deco statue of Jesus Christ in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was considered the largest Christ statue in the world from 1931 until 2010 when it was topped by the Christ the King statue in Poland. It is 30 meters tall, not including its 8 meters pedestal, and its arms stretch 28 meters wide. The statue weighs 635 tons, and is located at the peak of the 700-meter Corcovado mountain in the Tijuca Forest National Park overlooking the city. A symbol of Brazilian Christianity, the statue has become an icon for Rio de Janeiro and Brazil. It is made of reinforced concrete and soapstone, and was constructed between 1922 and 1931. History. The idea of building a large statue atop Corcovado was first suggested in the mid-1850s, when Vincentian priest, Pedro Maria Bosch, suggested placing a Christian monument on Mount Corcovado to honor Princess Isabel, Princess Regent of Brazil and the daughter of Emperor Pedro II. Princess Isabel did not act on this request. In 1889, the country became a republic and, with the official separation of state and church, the idea was dismissed. The second proposal for a landmark statue on the mountain was made in 1920, by the Catholic Circle of Rio. The group organized an event called Semana do Monumento to attract donations and collect signatures to support the building of the statue. The donations came mostly from Brazilian Catholics. The designs considered for the statue of the Christ included a representation of the Christian cross, a statue of Jesus with a globe in his hands, and a pedestal symbolizing the world. The statue of Christ the Redeemer with open arms, a symbol of peace, was chosen. Local engineer Ħedẽjʻtoʁ da Silva Costa designed the statue. It was sculpted by Polish-French sculptor Paul Landowski. The face of the statue was created by Romanian sculptor Ofi Leonida, who was born in Galati, Romania, in 1893. He studied sculpture at the Fine Arts Conservatory in Bucharest, then, after 3 more years' study in Italy, he won a prize for the sculpture Revile. After that he moved to Paris, where his work, Le Diable, was awarded the Grand Prix. Becoming famous in France as portraitist, he was included by Paul Landowski and the team that started working on Christ the Redeemer in 1922. Ofi Leonida contributed by portraying Jesus Christ's face on the statue, which made him famous. A group of engineers and technicians studied Landowski's submissions and the decision was made to build the structure out of reinforced concrete instead of steel, more suitable for the cross-shaped statue. The outer layers are soapstone, chosen for its enduring qualities and ease of use. Construction took 9 years, from 1922 to 1931 and cost the equivalent of $250,000. The monument was opened on October 12, 1931. During the opening ceremony, the statue was meant to be lit by a battery of floodlights which would be turned on remotely by shortwave radio pioneer Guglielmo Marconi, stationed 5,700 miles away in Rome, Italy, but poor weather affected the signal and they had to be turned on by workers in Rio. In October 2006, on the 75th anniversary of the statue's completion, Archbishop of Rio, Cardinal Eusebio Oscar Eide, consecrated a chapel, named after Brazil's patron saint Our Lady of the Apparition, under the statue. This allows Catholics to hold baptisms and weddings there. The statue was struck by lightning during a violent thunderstorm on February 10, 2008, and suffered some damage to the fingers, head and eyebrows. A restoration effort was put in place by the Rio de Janeiro state government to replace some of the outer soapstone layers and repair the lightning rods installed on the statue. It was damaged by lightning again, on January 17, 2014, where a finger on the right hand was dislodged. In 2010, a massive restoration of the statue was undertaken. The statue was washed, the mortar and soapstone that cover the statue were replaced, the internal structure of iron was restored, and the monument was made waterproof. One incident which occurred during the restoration, was an act of vandalism, wherein paint was sprayed along the arm. Mayor Eduardo Paes called the act a crime against the nation. The culprits later apologized and presented themselves to the police. Restoration. In 1990, Further restoration work was conducted through an agreement among several organizations, including the Archdiocese of Rio de Janeiro, media company Rede Globo, oil company Shell do Brasil, environmental regulator IBAMA, National Institute of Historic and Artistic Heritage, and the city government of Rio de Janeiro. More work on the statue and its environs was conducted in 2003 and early 2010. In 2003, a set of escalators, walkways, and elevators were installed to facilitate access to the platform surrounding the statue. The 4-month restoration in 2010 focused on the statue itself. The statue's internal structure was renovated and its soapstone mosaic covering was restored by removing a crust of fungi and other microorganisms and repairing small cracks. The lightning rods located in the statue unregistered trademark ⁻edẽj଼toḥ arms were also repaired, and new lighting fixtures were installed at the foot of the statue. The restoration involved 100 people and used more than 60,000 pieces of stone taken from the same quarry as the original statue. During the unveiling of the restored statue, it was illuminated with green and yellow lighting in support of the Brazil national football team playing in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Maintenance work needs to be conducted periodically due to the strong winds and erosion to which the statue is exposed, as well as lightning strikes. The original pale stone is no longer available in sufficient quantities, and replacement stones are increasingly darker in hue. See also, Monumento al Divino Salvador del Mundo, Monument to the Savior of the World San Salvador City, El Salvador, Cristo Redentor, Christ the Redeemer of Moratia, Italy, Christ of Vung Tau in Vietnam, Christ Blessing in Manado, North Sulawesi, Indonesia, Cristo Rei in Lisbon, Portugal, Cristo Rei of Dili, a 27-meter-high statue in Dili, Timor-Leste, Cerro del Q built in Guanajuato, Mexico, a 23-meter-high statue inspired by Christ the Redeemer, Christ of the Ozarks in Arkansas, United States, a 20-meter-high statue inspired by Christ the Redeemer, Christ of Havana in Havana. Cuba, a 20-meter-high statue inspired by Christ the Redeemer, Christ the Redeemer of the Andes, Cristo de la Concordia in Cochabamba, Bolivia, Cristo de las Snows in Torrecueden, Mexico, Christ of the Abyss in various underwater locations, Christ the King, 33 meters tall and weighing 440 tons, in Shwiebodzin, Poland, Cristo del Pacifico, Lima, Peru, a 7-meter-high statue erected in 2011, Christ the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Ibiza, Spain, a 23-meter-high statue inspired by Christ the Redeemer, list of statues by height, gallery, references. External links, official website, map, government bulletin about the statue's restoration, Poliakoff, Martin. Soapstone at Cristo Redentor. The periodic table of videos. University of Nottingham A.